Hi, GenderqueerChat, it's Callie. This is Saturday, and the topic this week is gendered education. We're asked, do boys and girls learn differently? If so, then what does that mean for genderqueer people? Have you attended an all-boy or all-girls school? What do you think about the movement for single-sex public education? And then there's a link to an article. So I think maybe I'll answer these questions in reverse order just to be controversial and because I think it follows my train of thought better. Okay, so I read this article and I will put a link to it down below as other people have done so that you can read it. So the article is from a few years ago, but it's about a movement where certain high schools in the US had programs where you could opt into single-sex classes, where parents could do this on behalf of their children. The scheme, it seems, was based on a book called, I'll tell you what the book was called that they based this scheme on. It was called Boys and Girls Learn Differently, is the title of the book. Yeah, and another book called Why Gender Matters, What Parents and Teachers Need to Know About the Emerging Science of Sex Differences. Now, this is a sort of book which is, I think, really quite dangerous because it'll take research which is very at kind of early stages and speculative, and then in the way that the mainstream media does with scientific research, it'll take something that's been discovered and then exaggerate it and blow it out of proportion, take it out of context, and you'll end up with something like this where scientists have discovered that there may be a correlation between A and B, and then the media ends up saying A causes B, avoid A if you want to avoid B, and this sort of thing. So where the science behind it is still speculative and unformed, and in this area of the precise science of sex differences, there's so much about this that we don't know about the way our brains may or may not be gendered, and what the real implications for that are. So I think it's one manifestation of this trend that can be particularly worrying. And as Chris pointed out, there are so many other factors that can influence these things, which no matter what changes in test scores may have shown, it really doesn't help. And what people have said is that you're going to have to deal with being in a mixed gender environment virtually whatever kind of life you go on to lead, so you should begin to get used to it from the start. And from my personal perspective, so the last question, if I'm going through them backwards, have you ever attended an all-girl or all-boy school? No, I attended a mixed-sex public school as public school in the American sense. Public school means something different here. A public school in Britain is a posh private school for historical reasons, which I will not go into in a YouTube video, but a state school I went to, a state-funded school, and in Scotland those are all co-educational, mixed sex, and it's probably a good thing that I did, because virtually all my friends at school were girls, and I did not get on well with boys at all. I did not fit in with them. I only barely fit in with the girls, because there was a lot of times at school I really didn't like school very much, and even with girls I didn't always fit in socially, and but if I had been in all boys school, I think I would pretty much have had no friends, and that would have been sad times for me. I mentioned this on the channel before, in an all girls gym class once, which is where we got to choose what gym class we were going to be in, and there were 2 mixed sex gym classes and one all boys gym class that just played football, soccer all the year round, and then there was another class which was all girls except for me, because I chose to be in this class and nobody told me not to. Which is not to say that if I could somehow make it so that I had gone to an all girls school, where I was the only boy, I'm not like, if I could somehow arrange it so that that was my past, then I would not do that, because I think that would have messed me up equally as much, and it would have not equipped me, because I do have male and male identified friends now, that I've come to university and matured, and I would not want to be without those friends. But I think if I had only ever had exposure to female friends, then that would have messed me up in other ways. So I'm liking this answering the questions backwards thing. I think that's a good thing. Okay, well, these 2 questions are kind of the kind of parts of that they're dependent on each other, so I'll just answer them together. Do boys and girls learn differently, and if so, what does that mean for genderqueer people? I don't know if boys and girls learn differently, and what other people on the channel have been saying is if they do learn differently, then the difference is probably negligible when compared to differences in things like socioeconomic background. I think just differences between people being different. I have this friend who's getting married soon. God, that's really scary. The next day I do, next Saturday, so the next day I do my video, I will either be about to go to her wedding or will have just been to her wedding. And I still haven't chosen a gift on the gift registry list. What do you buy for people? This is a big tangent, because there are lots of cool kitchen gadgets that I could buy them, but I mean, anyway, okay, no, not doing that tangent. I'm going to keep talking about gendered education. Yes, the point I was trying to make is that she and her fiance do this thing, like they have these kind of, because they're quite religious, and they have these kind of books which tell you. There's one written by they're written by a married couple, and one of them is about if you're a man marrying a woman, what do women want, and if you're a woman marrying a man, what do men want of a marriage partnership. And I was talking about this with a mutual friend of ours, and we were saying, I mean, if there's how can you define a set of things which are the things that women want and the things that men want? How can you think that those are going to be, that you could even begin to define a category of okay, so women are this kind of person and they all want this, and men are this kind of person and they all want this, and think that there is enough commonality between the billions of women and billions of men, not to mention however many genderqueer people there are, that they will all want the same thing. There's too much kind of proliferation. People are too different for you to be able to generalization about women or female-bodied people or men or male-bodied people or, for goodness sake, genderqueer people. Can you imagine trying to say all genderqueer people want this, so, or are like this? People are too different. Okay, well, that's probably enough out of me for 1 week. You know what I think about gender education, but this has been really interesting and informative week. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.